we're going to create a classic von Koch curve in GeoGebra. So first I'm going to get rid of my algebra window for now, and I have a white space. I will start out with 2 points and connect those with a line segment. So I'm going under my line tool and choose segment, connect my points. Now I want 2 more points on this segment, and I want them to be 1/3 of the way in from each end. So I'm going to define them in the input line. So one of my points, C1, will equal my A, which is the left end point, plus B minus A and then we'll divide it by 3 to get thirds. And there's a point, and then I need to do one from the other end. So one more in the input line, C2 equals A plus 2 times B minus A, that's the length of the segment, and divided by 3. So that puts it 2/3 of the way. Very good. We have the points we need. And now what we want to get to do the classic von Koch is a point up here. So we're going to get circles, and then we'll choose their intersection. So I'm going to do the circle tool. I want to be sure to pick the circle with center through a point. And I want my center to be on these new points. And to go through the outside edge. And then I'll do the same tool again on the other side, except my center is going to be through this point, and then I want the circle to go through the outside edge. Now what I want is the intersection of these 2 circles. So I'll go back under my point tool, pick intersect, and click. I have the intersection now. Now these circles are in the way, so I can hide them if I right click and click show object. It will toggle it off, so it will turn it off, and I will do the same over here. So now my circles are gone, and I'm going to put in line segments to get my stage 2. So we'll put in a segment, and another segment, and we really don't want the piece down here, so I'm going to hide this line. So I have right clicked on it to select it to get object properties, and then I'm going to click on show object and it will hide it. So I'm going to put new segments there. And now I have a stage 1 of the classic von Koch curve. I want to make a tool to help me out, and what I want for this tool is these center 3 points. So I'm going to hide all of my lines and just be able to select those points. So I'm selecting it with right click, and then I'm going to click show object so it will toggle it off. So select it, show object, toggle it off, and there we go. Now I can pick my points. So I'm going to hold down the right mouse button and hover over these, drag it, and I have selected the points. I'm going to go under tools, create new tool. I have everything in there I need. I have my 2 points and my intersection, and we just have to name it. So we're going to call this one VK1, and we'll finish. Okay. Right? Now, between my points that I have up here, I'm going to reapply that tool. So this is a stage 1. If I apply another stage 1 onto this, it will give me a stage 2. So now I'm going to take this tool for my stage 1, and I'm going to apply it between the points. And you'll see my tool come up there. And we'll do it all the way to the end. And now I have stage 2 points. I'm going to connect these points with a polyline so that I will have a line I can make for a tool. And so I want the Polyline tool. It's under the lines, Polyline, and I want to go through all the points and click back to the end to make the polyline. So follow your pattern. And click again at the end. And that is my stage 2. I'm going to make another tool with the polyline, but I would like to first look in my Algebra window, so I can click View in Algebra to see my points, and I want to turn off all these points. So the same as Show Object. So if I hover over these points, let's see if I can select them all. And what I want to do is turn them off, except for the inputs I'm going to turn, the endpoints I'm going to turn back on. Now I'm going to hide this window and select the polyline. I'm going to go Tools, Create New Tool, have my polyline. Next, I have the correct input. My output will be VK1 polyline, and we'll finish. Now I'm going to go back and put the points back on. So I'm going back to the Algebra window, highlight the points, I'm moving the mouse over them to select them, and click Show Object. And we'll try again. Now all my points are back on, and what I want to turn off, and I want to remember which one it is the K polyline, because later that will be my stage 2. So I am going to turn that off and just have my points. Close this screen. I'm going to use my mouse to the scroll part, the button in the middle, to make it a little larger, and I'm going to move it. And now I'm going to apply my tool, my polyline tool, in between these points. And this is a stage 2 points. I'm applying a stage 2 polyline, which will give me a stage 4. We're going to apply our tool to this set of points, and because it's a polyline tool, we have to click the first and the end point. So we're going to do our tool, and we want the polyline tool. We'll click first and the end. And then you have to click this end, which is now the first and the end. First and the end, all the way around. You have to be very careful as you do this, and click them all. Right, and we don't have to click back to the beginning for this one. Now we have the polyline. We would really like to not have all these points. So I'm going back to the Algebra window. That's the easiest place to to me to see them, and I want to turn all of these off except the A and the B. So I'm going to hover over them, get them selected, and I'll click Show Object. It will turn the points all off. I'm going to put back on the A and the B. Now I want to select my polyline, and it's really made up of a lot of little polylines now to make my next tool. So I think I can probably do it from this window in the Algebra to select it easily. So I'm going to try to go here, hover over, and see if I can get them selected. Alright, and I'm keeping in mind that I really don't want the K one. It's not lit up here, but if it shows up in my toolbox, I will take it out. So I'm going to go Tool, Create New Tool, and I'm going to just look and make sure that K is not there, and it is there. So I'm going to take it out, and otherwise I have all those little polylines. Click Next, Input Points A and B, that's correct. And this is going to be my Stage 4 Polyline tool. We're going to call it VK2 Polyline. Finish. And we have this tool. All right, I am going to... What I need now, I have a Stage 4. I would like to get to a Stage 6. So I'm going to put the points back on for a Stage 2. And I'm going to turn the polyline off. So I'll select it and Show Object. So it's toggled off. All I should have there is my 2 points. As soon as I get rid of this Algebra window, you'll see the other one. And I want to see all my points again. Show Object. And it did that because I had 2 still on. So I'm going to highlight them again, and now when I click Show Object, they're going to be on. So I will get rid of my Algebra window. I want a lot of space because I'm going to click between each of these tiny ones. Now I have a Stage 2 set of points. I'm going to put on top of that a Stage 4 polyline, which will give me a Stage 6 von Koch curve. So I'm going to go my new tool, and it is a polyline, so be sure to click the first and the end of it. First and end of each one. It's easy to forget. So you see that it's made up of a lot of little pictures of itself. Pieces that look alike and will look like the whole thing. Almost to the end. And this is a Stage 6. I would like for it to show without these extra points. So I'm going to go back to my Algebra window and get my points lit. I'm going to click them off, and I will click back on just my endpoints. Now I'll get rid of the Algebra window, and there I have a von Koch Stage 6 curve. If I pull on one of these points, let me make sure I am on point, not tool. On one of the endpoints, it will move it around on the screen, but it will still look the same. So that's why I like to keep those endpoints on there. Let's add a checkbox on this one and show the Stage 2 through the checkbox. So I'm going to go in, and if you remember my Stage 2, and you probably don't, but I remember because I knew what I was going to do with it, it was the K polyline. So we'll put a checkbox, we'll click where it's going to go, and this will be Stage 2. What we want in here is the polyline. Okay. That's the only thing I wanted in that checkbox. Right, and it filled in. I would like to make it a different color so it shows up nice. I can either try to select it here. First of all, let's get off this checkbox so it doesn't put another checkbox there. If you go always back to this end one, that will get you off of it. So if I right click on this, it will select my polyline, and I'm going to do object properties and change the color on that so that it shows up nice. We will make it red. And there it shows my stage 2 through it that it's built on. I can click it off.